So, welcome all of you to this Bhagavatam session. Very, very auspicious day today is Nityananda Trayodashi, and all the more auspicious to discuss Bhagavatam, right? So, let us start. And today we'll be discussing from fifth canto, seventh chapter. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. जगन्नाथ बलदेव माई की जय नरसिंह भगवान की जय पंचतत्व की षड गोस्वामी की जय गुरु परंपरा की जय श्री गुरुपाद मोस्ट अगस्त विष्टा भूतृष्ण महाविष्णु स्वामी मोस्ट भक्ति विशेष जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य भगवत नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत. So this is the chapter, the activities of King Bharata. First, just we'll read this summary is given, so it's very easy. You will know what exactly is there. So in this chapter, the activities of King Bharata Maharaj, emperor of the whole world, are described. Bharat Maharaj performed various ritualistic ceremonies, Vedic yajnas, and satisfied the Supreme Lord by his different modes of worship. In due course of time, he left home and resided in Hardwar and passed his days in devotional activities. Being ordered by his father, Lord Rishabhadeva, Bharat Maharaj married Panchajani, the daughter of Vishwarupa. After this, he ruled the whole world peacefully. Formerly, this planet was known as Ajanabha, and after the reign of Bharat Maharaj, it became known as Bharatavarsha. Bharat Maharaj begot five sons in the womb of Panchajani, and he named sons Sumati, Rashtrabrata, Sudarshana, Avarana, and Dhumraketu. Bharat Maharaj was very rigid in executing religious principles and following in the footsteps of his father. He therefore ruled the citizens very successfully. Now, because he performed various yajnas to satisfy the Supreme Lord, he was personally very satisfied. Being of undisturbed mind, he increased his devotional activities unto Lord Vasudeva. This nice line is very nice. Being of undisturbed mind, he increased his devotional activities unto Lord Vasudeva. So if you want to increase your devotional activities, your mind should be very peaceful and still, right? Undisturbed. Bharat Maharaj was competent in understanding the principles of saintly persons like Narada, and he followed in the footsteps of the sages. He also kept Lord Vasudeva constantly within his heart. After finishing his kingly duties, he divided his kingdom among his five sons. He then left home and went to the place of Pulaha, known as Pulaha Ashrama. There he ate forest vegetables and fruits and worshipped Lord Vasudeva with everything available. Thus, he increased his devotion towards Vasudeva, and he automatically began to realize further his transcendental blissful life. Due to his highly advanced spiritual position, there were sometimes visible in his body the Ashta Sattvika transformations, such as ecstatic crying and bodily trembling, which are symptoms of love of Godhead. It is understood that Maharaj Bharata worships the Supreme Lord with the mantras mentioned in the Rig Veda, generally known as Gayatri Mantra, which aim at the Supreme Narayana situated within the sun. See, in this chapter, the verses are basically prose. So, like Shri Shukavacha, Varastu tu Mahabha Bhagavato Yada Bhavatatavani Tala Paripal Palanaya Sanchindittastat Panchajanim Vishwarupa Dhuitaram Upayeme. It's just like when you read just a sentence, right? It's not like the lyrical, rhythmic verses which we recite. All of the verses are like that. So here, the first verse, Shukadeva Goswami continued speaking to Maharaj Parikshit. My dear king, Bharat Maharaj was a topmost devotee. Following the orders of his father, who had already decided to install him on the throne, he began to rule the earth accordingly. When Bharat Maharaj ruled the entire globe, he followed the orders of his father and married Panchajani and daughter of Vishwarupa. So this chapter, activities of King Bharat Maharaj, emperor of the whole world, is described, right? There are three Bharatas. One is Shakuntala's son, Bharata. Then Ramachandra's, Lord Ramachandra's son is Bharata, brother, sorry, Bharata, and Rishabhadeva's son, that is Maharaj Bharat. But the Shastric information is this Bharata Varsha is meant from the name of Rishabhadeva's son Bharata. From Rishabhadeva's son Bharata, this Bharat Varsha came into being. See, formerly this planet was known as Ajanaba. Ajanaba. And after the reign of Bharat Maharaj, it became known as Bharata Varsha. So Rishabdeva, father of Maharaj Bharat, right? And whose name India, now it's known as, but actually it's not India. The whole planet was known as Bharat Varsha. Means this planet actually in the Vedic literature. And it is consisting of 7 islands. This is also mentioned in the Vedic literature. 7 islands like means Asia, Europe, right? Africa, North America, South America, Australia, then Oceania, right? So these 7 islands are mentioned. So this planet is called Bharat Varsha. But now it is divided. It is divided by because on account of loss of the old Vedic culture, we have now divided it. Like I am thinking Indian, somebody Australian, American. So these divisions have come. In fact, Prabhupada says very lately, about 3 to 4,000 years ago. Before that, this planet was one. There was only one king. We all get this from the Vedic literature, right? Information. And that one king was ruling all over them. The culture was one. That was the Vedic culture those days. Now totally disrupted, right? So in the second verse, he says, just as the false ego creates a subtle sense objects, Maharaj Bharata created 5 sons in the womb of Panchajani, his wife. So these sons were named Sumati, Rashtrabrata, Sudarshana, Avarana, and Dhumra Ketu. Third, he says, formerly this planet was known as Ajanaba Varsha. But since Maharaj Bharata's reign, it has become known as Bharata Varsha. Please hear very carefully, right? At the end, I will ask some questions. Okay. So this planet was formerly known as Ajanaba because of the reign of King Nabhi. After Bharat Maharaj ruled the planet, it became celebrated as Bharata Varsha. So the point C, let's see, fourth one, yeah. See, Maharaj Bharat was a very learned and experienced king on this earth. He perfectly ruled the citizens, being himself engaged in his own respective duties. See, this is very important. No, he perfectly ruled the citizens, right? Maharaj Bharata was as affectionate to the citizens as his father and grandfather had been. So, keeping them engaged in their occupational duties, he ruled the earth. So, this is the duty of a king to keep the all the citizens, right, engaged in their occupational duties. And purport is very beautiful. It says, it is most important that the chief executive, that is the prime minister, president, who are the rule nowadays, right? He rules the citizens by keeping them fully engaged in their respective occupational duties. So what are those? So some of the citizens were Brahmanas, some were Kshatriyas, some were Vaishyas and Shudras. So it is duty of the government to see that the citizens act according to these material divisions for their spiritual advancement. So this is the most important thing. Okay, it's the duty of the government, right, to see the citizens act according to these material divisions like Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya for their spiritual advancement. And this line is very powerful. No one should remain unemployed or unoccupied in any way. One must work as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra on the material path. And on the spiritual path, everyone should act as a Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, or Sannyasi. See, although formally the government was a monarchy, all the kings were very affectionate towards the citizens. And they strictly kept them engaged in their respective duties. Therefore, society was very smoothly conducted. So, this paragraph shows how the society can be smoothly conducted. So, it has to be divided, no, according to the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, right? And the spiritual path, that is Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. And this another fifth one is also a wonderful uh, verse. See, in the translation, Prabhupada says, with great faith, okay, King Bharata performed various kinds of sacrifice. He performed the sacrifices known as Agnihotra, Darsha, Purnamasa, Chaturmasya, Pashu Yajna. Pashu Yajna, that is wherein a horse is sacrificed. Soma Yajna, wherein a kind of beverage is offered. Sometimes these sacrifices were performed completely, completely it was performed, and sometimes partial. In any case, in all the sacrifices, the regulations of Chatur Hotra were strictly followed. In this way, Bharat Maharaj worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada makes it very clear in the purport. Animals like horses and cows were offered in sacrifice to test the proper execution of the sacrifice. By reading this line, we'll feel like the animal slaughters which happening nowadays. You know, what is this? So here in the next line, otherwise these were no, there was no purpose in killing the animal. Actually, the animal was offered in the sacrifice fire to get a rejuvenated life. This is important. Generally, an old animal was sacrificed in the fire and it would come out again in a youthful body. See, those days, Brahmanas, no, the mantras they recite, very powerful. It happens. So, some of the rituals, however, did not require animal sacrifice. So, in the present age, animal sacrifice are forbidden. Now, it's not possible. There are no Brahmanas so powerful like those days. As stated by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ashwamedam Gavalambham Sanyasam Paitrikam Devarena Sutotpatim Pattim Kalau Pancha Vivarjayet. In this age of Kali, 5 acts are forbidden. What are the 5? The offering of a horse in sacrifice is forbidden. The offering of a cow in sacrifice is forbidden. Acceptance of the order of sannyasa is forbidden. Offering of oblations of flesh to the forefathers is forbidden. And a man's begetting children in his brother's wife is forbidden. It is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 17.164. Such sacrifices are impossible in this age. Why? Due to the scarcity of expert brahmanas who are able to take the responsibility, right? In the absence of these, Sankirtan Yajna is recommended. Yajna Sankirtan Prayer Yajanti hi Sumedasah. 11.532 Bhagavatam says. After all, sacrifices are executed to why we do yajna. Why? To please the Lord, right? All sacrifices executed to please the Supreme Personality Godhead. So yajnartha karma. Such activities should be carried out for the Supreme Lord's pleasure. So in this age of Kali, the Supreme Lord in his incarnation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should be worshipped with his associates by performing of Sankirtana Yajna. And that is the congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this process is accepted by intelligent men. Yajna Sankirtana prayer yajati hi sumedasaha. The word sumedasaha refers to intelligent men who possess very good brain substance. Very nice point, no? Brain substance. See, in fact, in the purport of 11.18.8, Prabhupada says, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has given a detailed explanation of the 4 rituals mentioned, namely Agnihotra, Darsha, Pauramasa, and Chaturmasya. The conclusion is that everyone should simply chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare, and avoid the difficult entanglement of Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. And he says, if one neither chants Hare Krishna nor performs such rituals, both they don't do both of them, then one certainly becomes a Pashandi, an atheistic fool. See, our gross body, it constantly deteriorates. But we do not realize in our day-to-day activities. We are aware of the recommended activities for maintaining the body. However, we find endless excuses to ignore the recommendations and do whatever we like. Whimsically, we start doing. It is only, see, the point to understand is it is only when the deterioration increases, when it increases very considerably, resulting in big diseases, that we are forced to realize this. Then what happens? We run to the best doctor and on his instructions take the appropriate medicines and treatment to cure ourselves. With full submission we do that. What happens after we are cured? We again go back to our old ways. And this vicious cycle goes on. See, from the scriptures, we understand that we are all pure eternal souls, but have been diseased by wishing, right? Wishing away the Lord, no? By trying to lord it over the material nature. And therefore, we are sent to this material world, diseased material world. Dukkha ashashvatam, temporary and full of miseries. See, the fact, just hold on. See, the fact is, we are in this material world, far away from our eternal residence, right? And therefore, we are diseased. But due to our ignorance, the living entities do not realize this. See, some fortunate souls have access to devotee association. And also, at least they have Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita at their house to understand how to lead their lives, right, in this yuga. But everyone tries to lead their own lives, thinking they are completely well and healthy. So sometimes, what happens? Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, he gives us a big blow in our lives to make us realize the intensity of our disease. It only then we can become desperate, no, to rush off to the doctor. But unlike in this material world, we hardly make inquiries to the best doctor and ensure that we can get the best treatment and the right medicine. That is Krishna. So our kind and loving Father, no, Krishna guides the conditioned soul through the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, wherein we are told about the identity of the specialist doctor in this age. That is 11.532 is Krishna Varnam Trusha Krishnam Sangopangastra Pashadam Yajne Sankirtan Prayir Yajanti Sumedasah. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. So Krishna, in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, comes as a specialist doctor to give us the medicine for our diseased condition this age. That's why he says, Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago. Please wake up souls, wake up souls. So he comes with his associates and intelligent people who want to be cured, right? To worship him by taking his medicine. And what is the medicine? How does it work? This is mentioned in Upadeshamrita, text 7. It says, the holy name, character, pastimes, and activities of Krishna are all transcendently sweet like sugar candy. Although the tongue of one afflicted by jaundice of avidya, ignorance, he cannot taste anything sweet. It is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish awakens within his tongue, and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root. So Prabhupada explains, although Krishna consciousness may not be very palatable for a diseased person, Srila Rupa Goswami advises that if one wants to be cured of the material disease, he must take to this chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra with great care and attention. So one begins his treatment by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra because by chanting this holy name of the Lord, a person in the material condition will be relieved from all misconceptions. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Avidya, ignorance, a misconception about one's spiritual identity. He provides the foundation for ahankar or false ego within the heart. So the real disease is in the heart. If the mind is cleansed, if consciousness is cleansed, a person cannot be harmed by the mental disease. This is the point to understand. And if we follow the prescribed medicine, what happens? We can get permanently cured and get out of this diseased condition, existence. Mukta Sangha Param Vrajet. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One can become free from the material bondage, right? And he can be promoted to the transcendental kingdom, Goloka. So Prabhupada says, when a man in the material world takes more interest in the materialistic way of life than in Krishna consciousness, he is considered to be in a diseased condition. So we are all diseased if we are not in Krishna consciousness. So let us not await any greater diseases, right? Before we start taking the recommended medicines sincerely. So this is the only method of recovering our spiritual health. See, I will share the screen again. The sixth verse is very, very, very important verse. We have to read this again and again. See, after performing the preliminaries of various sacrifices, Maharaj Bharata, he offered the results in the name of religion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, right? So, in other words, he performed all the yajnas for the satisfaction of Lord Vasudeva, Krishna. Now, Maharaj Bharata thought that since the demigods were different parts of Vasudeva's body, he controls those who are explained in the Vedic literature, mantras. By thinking in this way, Maharaj Bharata was freed from all material contamination, such as attachment, lust, and greed. Right? No, because he was thinking, because the demigods, he was thinking that they are only parts of the Vasudeva's body. They are not all this independent, right? They are part of the Lord. So when the priests were about to offer the sacrificial ingredients into the fire, Maharaj Bharata expertly understood how this offering made to different demigods was simply an offering to the different limbs of the Lord. For instance, Indra is the arm of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Surya's sun is his eye. So Maharaj Bharata considered that oblations offered to different demigods were actually offered unto the different limbs of Lord Vasudeva. Now let's read the purport. It's a little long purport, but very nice. Please hear very carefully. Purport by His Divine Grace Prabhupada Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead says that as long as one does not develop the pure devotional service of Shravanam Kirtanam, hearing and chanting, one must carry out his prescribed duties. Since Bharat Maharaj was a great devotee, one may ask why he performed so many sacrifices that are actually meant for karmis. The fact is that he was simply following the orders of Vasudeva. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. 18.6 is Bhagavad Gita. Whatever we do, we should constantly remember Vasudeva. People are generally addicted to offering obeisances to various demigods. But Bharat Maharaj simply wanted to please Lord Vasudeva. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. This is the peace formula verse 5.2 in Bhagavad Gita. A yajna may be carried out to satisfy a particular demigod. Okay. But when the yajna is offered to the Yajna Purusha, Narayana, the demigods are also satisfied. So the purpose of performing different yajnas is to satisfy the Supreme Lord. This we have to understand. One may perform them in the name of different demigods or directly. So if we directly offer oblations to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the demigods are automatically satisfied. So if we water the root of a tree, the branches, the twigs, fruits, and flowers are automatically satisfied. When one offers sacrifices to different demigods, one should remember that the demigods are simply parts of the body of the Supreme. So if we worship the hand of a person, we intend to satisfy the person himself. If we massage a person's legs, we do not really serve the legs, but the person who possesses the legs. All the demigods are different parts of the Lord. And if we offer service to them, we actually serve the Lord Himself. So demigod worship is mentioned in Brahma Samhita. But actually, shlokas advocate worship of the Supreme Personality of God, Govinda. For instance, worship of the goddess Durga is mentioned in this way in Brahma Samhita 5.44. Srishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Reka Chahe Vayasya Bhuvanani Vivarti Durga Icchanurupama Priyasya Chacheshtate Sa Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Following the orders of Sri Krishna, the goddess Durga creates maintains, and annihilates. Sri Krishna also confirms this statement in Bhagavad Gita. Mayadakshana prakritihi suyate sacharachara. This mental nature is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, and it is producing all moving and unmoving beings. 9.10 Bhagavad Gita. We should worship the demigods in that spirit because the goddess Durga satisfies Krishna. So we should therefore offer respects to goddess Durga. Because Lord Shiva is nothing but Krishna's functional body, we should therefore offer respects to Lord Shiva. Similarly, we should offer respects to Brahma, Agni, Surya. So there are many offerings to different demigods. And one should always remember that these offerings are usually meant to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is ultimate, right? So Bharat Maharaj did not aspire to receive some benediction from demigods. That's what we are seeing nowadays. So many yajnas are going for pleasure to get material benefits, right? So Bharat Maharaj did not aspire to receive some benediction from demigods. His aim was to please the Supreme Lord. So this is the lesson we should take. So in the Mahabharata, among the 1,000 names of Vishnu, it is said Yajna Bhug, Yajna Krit, Yajna. The enjoyer of Yajna, the performer of Yajna and Yajna itself are the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord is a performer of everything. But out of ignorance, the living entity thinks that he is the actor. I am the doer. That's what we feel. So as long as we think that we are the actors, we bring about karma bandha, bondage to activity. If we act for yajna, for Krishna, there is no karma bandha. Yajnatat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work binds one to this material world. 3.9 Bhagavad Gita. So following the instructions of Bharat Maharaj, we should act not for our personal satisfaction, but for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why Bhagavad Gita 17.28 is also stated. Ashraddaya hutam dattam tapastaptam kritam chayat asadityuchyate partha nacha tat pretya no iha. Sacrifices, austerities and charities performed without faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead are non-permanent. Regardless of whatever rituals are performed, they are called asat, non-permanent. They are therefore useless both in this life and in the next. Kings like Maharaj Ambarisha and many other Rajarishis who are pure devotees of the Lord simply pass their time in the service of the Supreme Lord. They pass their time by serving the Lord. What for us? Time pass. How to pass the time we don't know. Maybe suppose we want to, it is regulation is there no, for devotees. 16 rounds. Prabhupada said, chant 16 rounds and be happy. Chant and be happy. But what happens? We finish 16 rounds and be happy. Then we don't know what to do. But the whole package has been given by Srila Prabhupada. Right from morning to getting up, doing Mangalarti until we go to bed. So the whole beautiful, right, Mangalarti, chanting, right, Ishtashtakam, Tulsi Arti, Nasimha Arti, offering Bhoga, taking Prasadam, Guru Arti, so many things, right, discussing Bhagavatam, then going out Harinam Sankirtan, book distribution. Completely, you can 24 hours you can be engaged. Of course, you have to do your prescribed, going to office, school, all this, that also has to be, and taking care of your elderly people. All these responsibilities has to be taken care of. But add Krishna to your life by doing this. You can chant Hare Krishna anywhere, anytime, right? In your mind also, if somebody is agitated by you chanting, you can chant in your mind. Nobody come to in your mind and see what you are doing. Correct. So when a pure devotee executes some service through the agency of another person, he should not be criticized. For his activities are meant for satisfaction of Supreme Lord. A devotee may have a priest perform some karma kanda. The priest may not be a pure Vaishnava, but because the devotee wants to please the Supreme Lord, he should not be criticized. So this criticism also. So the word apurva is very significant. The resultant actions of karma are called apurva. When we act piously or impiously, immediate results do not ensue. We therefore wait for the results, which are called apurva. The results are manifest in the future. Even the smartas accept this apurva. Now, pure devotees, I simply act for the pleasure of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, see how many times we have seen acting for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality, pleasure of Krishna, pleasure of Krishna, not for our own pleasure. If you act for the pleasure of Krishna, you will also be having the real pleasure. Therefore, the results of their activities are spiritual and permanent. They're not like those of the karmis, which are non-permanent. And this is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita's 4.23. Gata sangasya muktasya jnanavastishta chetasah yajnaya charata karma samagram praviliyate. So the work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature, who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge, merges entirely into transcendence. A devotee is always free from mental contamination. He is fully situated in knowledge, and therefore his sacrifices are intended for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of God. The whole, how many times you can see him? Just to please the Supreme Personality of God is very, very important, most important, right? That's all. See, we saw, right, just now the purport of this in the Mahabharata, thousand names of Vishnu. See, in Mahabharata, we see that after the war of Kurukshetra, the Pandavas, headed by Lord Krishna, they approached Bhishma Dev, who was lying on the bed of arrows. Now, Yudhishthira Maharaj asked a lot of questions on various kinds of religious principles, such as Raja Dharma, Stri Dharma, right? So Bhishma Deva answered all of them. Finally, Yudhishthira asked six questions. Who is the supreme deity? Who is the supreme deity? Who is the supreme shelter? Who is to be glorified? Who is the one to be offered worship? And by doing which humans can attain the blissful uh, atmosphere, which is the supreme religious principle, highest dharma, among all kinds of religious principles in your esteemed opinion, by chanting which person can attain liberation from material existence, which is essentially repeated birth and death. Bhishma Deva beautifully answered the questions and stated that chanting the thousand names of Lord Vishnu, who is the Supreme Lord, is the highest dharma. These names are already glorified and chanted by rishis, and chanting these names is the highest dharma. Jagat Prabhum Deva Devam Anantam Purushottamam Suvannama Sahasrena Purusha Satatotitah Tameva Charcharyam Nityam Bhaktya Purusham Avyayam Dhyayan Suvannamascha Yajamanas Cha Yesha Me Sarva Dharmanam Dharmo Adikato Mataha Yad Bhaktya Pundarikaksham Staverarcher Narasada. By chanting the thousand names of the Supreme Person, who is the master of the universe, Lord of all devatas, one who is infinite in his forms and qualities, the living entity should elevate himself spiritually. One should worship the imperishable Lord with one pointed devotion, and that Lord should be meditated upon, glorified, and offered obeisances. I consider this to be the supreme dharma among all dharmas, by which the lotus-eyed Lord is always worshipped and glorified. See, Yudhishthira Maharaj, just now what I recited is the actually part of the Vishnu Sahasranama. So Yudhishthira Maharaj asked, what is the supreme dharma? So Bhishma Deva could have said that the chanting the thousand names of Lord Vishnu is the supreme dharma and stop there. But being a Mahatma, Mahajana, Bhishma Deva he had great compassion for all living entities of Kali Yuga. He could understand the living entities in Kali Yuga, they cannot afford to perform yajnas, perform meditation, right? So he not only said that the thousand names of Vishnu is to be chanted, but also gave what are those thousand names. See, the Lord has infinite names, and Vishnu Deva chose thousand names which are glorified by the sages and devotees, and gave it to Yudhishthira Maharaj for the benefit of all souls of Kali Yuga. And this work is called Vishnu Sahasranam, thousand names of Lord Vishnu. And all great acharyas like Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya, Baladeva, Vishnu they have commented on this work. So it's very, very powerful, right? This we have to understand. The names, that chanting of the names is very, very useful. Of course, the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna Mantra is the best. So in the seventh verse, I will just share the screen. Yeah, this is in the seventh verse. In this way, being purified by ritualistic sacrifices, the heart of Maharaj Bharata was completely uncontaminated. There's no contamination. So his devotional service unto Vasudeva Lord Krishna increased day by day, day after day. Lord Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, is the original personality of Godhead, manifested as a super soul, Paramatma, as well as the impersonal Brahman. Yogis meditate upon the localized Paramatma situated in the heart. Jnanis worship the impersonal Brahman as supreme absolute truth. And devotees worship Vasudeva, the supreme personality of Godhead, whose transcendental body is described in the Shastras. His body is decorated with the Srivatsa, the Kaustuba jewel, and a flower garland. And his hands hold a conch shell, disc, club, and lotus flower. Devotees like Narada always think of him within their hearts. Lord, see the purport, Lord Vasudeva or Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is manifest within the hearts of yogis in his Paramatma feature. And he is worshipped as impersonal Brahman by Dhyanis. The Paramatma feature is described in Shastra as having four hands, holding disc, conch shell, lotus flower, and club. Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. So, Srimad Bhagavatam 228 says, केचित् स्वदेहान्तरहृदयावकाशे प्रादेशमात्रं पुरुषं वसन्तं चतुर्भुजं कञ्जरथाङ्गशङ्ख गदाधरं धारणया स्मरन्ति. Paramatma is seated in the hearts of all living beings. He has four hands, which hold four symbolic weapons. All devotees who think of the Paramatma within the heart worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the temple deity. They also understand the impersonal features of the Lord and his bodily rays, the Brahman effulgence. So in the eighth verse, destiny fixed the time for Maharaj Bharata's enjoyment of material opulence at 1000 times 10,000 years. 10,000 into 1000 times 10,000. So when that period was finished, he retired from family life and divided the wealth he had received from his forefathers among his sons. How many sons he had? Five sons. So he left his paternal home, the reservoir of all opulence, and started for Pulahashrama, which is situated in Hardwar. The Shalagrama Shilas are obtainable there. So according to the law of Daya Bhag, when one inherits an estate, he must hand it over to the next generation. Bharata Maharaj did this properly. First, he enjoyed his paternal property for 1000 times 10,000 years. So at the time of his retirement, he divided his property among his sons and left for Pulaha Ashrama. Now, at Pulaha Ashrama, this is the 10th verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, out of his transcendental affection for his devotee, becomes visible to his devotee, satisfying his devotee's desires. That's why in the purport, the Lord always exists in different transcendental forms. It is given in Brahma Samhita 5.39. Ramadimurtishu kalani yamena tishtan नानावतारमकरोद्भवनेषु किन्तु कृष्णः स्वयं समभवत् परमः पुमान्यो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. The Lord is situated as himself, Lord Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is accompanied by his expansions like Lord Rama, Baladeva, Sankarshana, Narayana, Mahavishnu, and so forth. The devotees worship all these forms according to their liking. That means different people have different likes. Some likes Lord Ram, some Lord Krishna, right? Nrsimhadev. And the Lord, out of his affection, presents himself as Archa Vigraha. He sometimes presents himself personally before the devotee out of reciprocation or affection. The devotee is always fully surrendered to the loving service of the Lord. And the Lord is visible to the devotee according to the devotee's desires. Just like, different rasas. Somebody wants him like their son, somebody wants him like a husband, right? Friend. He may be present in the form of Lord Ram, Lord Krishna, Lord Nrsimhadev, and so on. Such is the exchange of love between the Lord and his devotees. In the 10th verse, he says, now in Pulahashrama is the Gandaki river, which is the best of all rivers. The Shalagrama Shila, marble pebbles, purify all those places. On each and every marble pebble, up and down, circles like navels are visible. The purport says, Shalagrama Shila refers to pebbles that appear like stones with circles marked up and down. These are available in the river known as Gandaki Nadi. Wherever the waters of this river flow, place becomes immediately sanctified. I think it is this Gandaki river is in Nepal, I think. Come to the 11th verse. See, in the gardens of Pula Ashrama, Maharaj Bharata lived alone and collected a variety of flowers because he is now retired, right? It's gone there. Twigs, tulsi leaves, and he also collected the water of the Gandaki river. So that means Pula Ashrama is near the Gandaki river, as well as various roots, fruits, and bugs. With these, he offered food to the Supreme Personality Body, offering a boga. Vasudeva and worshipping him. He remained satisfied. In this way, his heart was completely uncontaminated. He was totally absorbed in Krishna consciousness. He did not have the least desire for material enjoyment. All material desires vanished. So in this steady position, he felt full satisfaction and was seated in devotional service. This is how we should be absorbed. How to absorb in Krishna consciousness? There are 15, in Bhagavad Gita, there is one verse. When in 15 places you can see the Lord. So not necessary to always sit and chant. There's so many things. Just by seeing the sun. Thank you, Krishna, for this warmth, right? During the winter, you see warmth. It's the sun. Rasoham apsu kaunteya. Drink water. The thirst is quenched. Thank you, Krishna. So each and every activity which you are doing in this material world, you can think of him. 24 hours you will absorbed. That's so. So by that, all material desires will vanish. Then you will be completely absorbed in spiritual bliss, right? See, everyone is searching after what? Peace of mind. And this is obtainable only when one is completely freed from the desire for material sense gratification and is engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. So now we are attached to material sense gratification. So we have to detach from that and attach to the service of Krishna. So that is a higher taste. If you come forcefully, you cannot detach anything. So you have to take the higher thing. That is the chanting Hare Krishna mantra, reciting shlokas, hearing Krishna Katha, associating with devotees. That is higher taste. So automatically material sense will go off. So forcefully you cannot do that. If you are getting angry, immediately you cannot say from now I will not get angry. Immediately reaction comes, right? So by the higher taste, the lower taste will go off. See, I studied in Bhagavad Gita, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, Yome Bhaktya, Prayachati. Worship of the Lord is not at all expensive. Everybody he doesn't ask completely for Chapan Bhog. But have the capacity, you definitely have to. If you have the capacity to do only this, then Krishna knows. He knows the motive. So worship of the Lord is not at all expensive, right? One can offer the Lord a leaf, flower, little fruit, and some water. Supreme Lord accepts these offerings when they are offered with love and devotion, not just for as a ritual, right? With love and devotion. When you go to the market to buy something, vegetables, fruits, and all, oh, this is nice. This is nice. Krishna will love this. This is how this should be. I love of Krishna. This is Krishna likes. So how what all Krishna likes? In that mood, if you do it. So daily activities, then Krishna will accept it. So in this way, one can become freed from the material desires. As long as one maintains material desires, he cannot be happy. Right? These statements. So, for example, if you feel unhappy, that means you are still in the material desires because you are not you are estimate what you say, expecting certain things from certain. You want this thing. You are lusty. You want greed. You are greedy. You want this. You're not getting it. Get frustrated, disappointed. You are still in the material. So, expectation kills the devotional service. Expectation kills the devotion. No expectation is the best expectation. So as soon as one engages in devotional service of the Lord, his mind is purified of all material desires. That's why we are glorifying the Lord to get ourselves purified. Then one becomes fully satisfied. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radhokshaje ahai tuki apratihata yatma suprasidati वासुदेवे भगवती भक्ति युग प्रयोजितः जनेत्याशु वैराग्यम ज्ञानम च यत् अहैतुकम Bhagavatam 1, 2, 6, and 7. The supreme occupation, dharma, for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendental Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted in order to completely satisfy the self. Devotional service should be unmotivated, no motivation should be there, and it should uninterrupted. Nityam Bhagavad Sevya, right? So by rendering devotional service unto the personality of Godhead Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. Nityam, focused, absolutely alert and right. Nityam. So see, without any deviation, we go on doing it, then it becomes fiery devotional service. The example of magnifying glass, which we used to do in our younger days, right? With the magnifying glass, you put in the sun, there's a newspaper, put a paper, and show it for a long time. The paper gets fired. It gets fiery, right? Because you did not deviate the magnifying here and there. Consistently, you're doing that. Then it gets fine. Same way, consistently focused, not deviating. When you are chanting Hare Krishna mantra, always listening to the mantra yourself. Maybe you can keep your hand like this. You can hear your own voice sound. Then focus continually, only hearing the mantra, not anything else. Right. Bringing back the mind, right? That way it becomes fiery devotion. Then you will completely detach from material hankerings. So these are the instructions given in Bhagavatam, supreme Vedic literature. See, one may not be able to go to Pula Ashrama, right? But wherever one is, one can happily render devotional service by adopting the process which is mentioned here. So Sthane Sita, wherever you are, you can continue. Right? Maybe you are in a place where there is no temple, there is no association. Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita is there, open it. Immediately Krishna is in front of you, Srila Prabhupada is there. They are speaking to you. So association is there. See, Maharaj Bharat was the son of King Rishabhadeva. So Bhagavatam says how when he inherited this planet from his father, he ruled it in such a very exemplary manner, right? Whole planet, which was earlier called Ajanaba, was renamed as Bharatavarsha. Now Maharaj Bharata was very pious, right? We saw a devoted king. He was obedient to his father. See, this is another important, obedient to his father. Follow, follow the instructions. And he was very immaculate in his prescribed duties. Honest, sincerity. So when we are going to office, doing your work, honestly and sincerity, you will be praised. That is Krishna consciousness. So he was very devoted to Supreme Lord. And what did he do? He performed various kinds of sacrifices for the pleasure of the Lord. And after the destined time of ruling the planet, what did he do? He gave the kingdom to his sons and divided, right? And so now he left for Hardwar. So right there he stayed in Purashrama for spending the remaining days of his life in meditation of the Supreme Lord. So the word Ekalaha in this verse, 5711, it's always easy for us to do devotional service when we are in a group. Okay. My Guru Maharaj, Maharashtra Goswami Maharaj says that our real test for devotional service is how we are performing sadhana when we are left alone. When we are alone, no, we tend to become lazy and careless. But here we find Bharat Maharaj, who had enjoyed royal opulence for thousands of years, stayed alone in Pula Ashrama and sincerely engaged in devotional service. That's what Prabhupada very nicely mentions in the purport, right? As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhakti Aparachit. Worship of the Lord is not at all expensive. One can offer the Lord a leaf, flower, fruit, and some water. So when Bharat Maharaj was the king, he used to use his wealth nicely in the service of the Lord. Now at the forest, he worshipped the Lord with whatever things which were available there. So this is the lesson we have to learn. So when you are capable, you have to do that. You have to full feasting and everything. But when it's nothing is available, whatever is available within that. So in both the cases, Krishna was pleased as Lord because he is concerned only with the intent and loving devotional mood. So in the concluding lines of the purport, no, Prabhupada nicely mentions, one may not be able to go to Pula Ashrama, but wherever one is can be happily render loving devotional service to the Lord, by routing process mentioned above, you will be happy. Sthane Sita, you can do that. Irrespective of the fact that whether we are rich or poor, we are alone or blessed with association of devotees. Wherever we are and whatever ashram we are, when we perform our sadhana properly, do our prescribed duties and engage in the serving the Lord, then we will always remain blissful. So devotional service should be simple. Devotional service should be simple and at the same time be intense. So in the 12th verse, you can see that most exalted devotee Maharaj Bharata in this way engaged constantly in the devotional service of the Lord. So naturally, his love for Vasudev, Krishna, increased more and more and melted his heart. Consequently, he gradually lost all attachment for regulative duties. Then what happened? The hairs of his body stood on end. All the ecstatic body symptoms were manifest. Tears flowed from his eyes, so much so that he could not see anything. So he constantly meditated on the reddish lotus feet of the Lord. At that time, his heart, which was like a lake, was filled with water of ecstatic love. So when his mind was immersed in that lake, he even forgot the regulative service to the Lord. See, the purport Prabhupada says, when one is actually advanced in ecstatic love for Krishna, 8 transcendental blissful symptoms are manifest in the body. Those are the symptoms of perfection arising from loving service to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, since Maharaj Bharata was constantly engaged in devotional service, all symptoms of ecstatic love were manifest in his body. See, there are 8 symptoms of, right, given, no? Ecstatic love. There are 8 symptoms of this ecstatic love, right? Become one. What are those? These are, it is in a Nectar of Devotion, no? 28, it is given. Becoming stunned, perspiring, standing of the hairs on the body, faltering of the voice, trembling of the body, changing of bodily colors, shedding of tears, and devastation. The scientific explanation of these 8 terms is given by Rupa Goswami. He says, when the vital force of life is in contact with the earth, when the vital force of life is in contact with the earth, one is stunned. That is the first one. When the same force comes in contact with water, there is shedding of tears. When the same force comes in contact with fire, there is perspiration. When the force comes into contact with sky, there is complete devastation. And when the force comes into contact with the air, there is trembling, failing of the voice, and standing of the hairs on the body. So these symptoms are sometimes manifested internally and sometimes externally. So the pure devotee always feels such symptomatic expressions within himself. But being afraid of the outsiders, he does not generally manifest them externally. So it's given in the Nectar of Devotion. Very beautiful. See, the 13th verse, Maharaj Bharata appeared very beautiful. He had a wealth of curly hair on his body, on his head, sorry, which was wet from bathing 3 times daily. He dressed in a deer skin. He worshipped Lord Narayana, whose body was composed of golden effulgence and who resided within the sun. Maharaj Bharata worshipped Lord Narayana by chanting the hymns given in the Rig Veda. And he recited the following verse as the sun rose. The predominating deity within the sun is Hiranmaya, Lord Narayana. He is worshipped by the Gayatri mantra. Om Bhurvaswa Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. He is also worshipped by other hymns mentioned in the Rig Veda. For instance, Dhyaya Sada Savitra Mandala Madhyavarti. Within the sun, Lord Narayana is situated and he has a golden hue. See, in the Vedic civilization, the twice born persons, no, people who have received spiritual initiation and sacred thread, they are mandated to worship the sun god at 3 junctures of the day, morning, afternoon, and evening, by chanting Gayatri Mantra. Generally, this mantra is taken as referring to the sun god, but actually, mantra refers to Lord Narayana, who is present in the awe above the sun. In Bhagavatam, now 5.7.13, we just now saw, right? We find Bharata Maharaj, who was later famously known as Jadabrata, worship the Supreme Person present in the orb of the sun during the 3 junctures of the day. The verse says, he worshipped Lord Narayana, whose body was composed of golden effulgence and who resided within the sun. Maharaj Bharata worshipped Lord Narayana by chanting the hymns given in the Rig Veda, and he recited the following verse as the sun rose. Surya Suryarcha Bhagavantam Hiranmayam Purusham Ujjahane Surya Mandale Abhyupatistan Etadu Ovacha. Prabhupada explains the predominant deity within the sun is Hiranmaya, Lord Narayana. He worshipped by the Gayatri mantra. Om Bhurvaswas Tatsavituranyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. We say purport, right? So one should not only recite Gayatri Mantra 3 times a day, but also meditate the form of Narayana in the orb of the sun. And that form is explained in the Garuda Puran. Deye Sada Savitra Mandal Madhyavarti Narayana Sarasi Jasana Sannivishtaha Keyurvan Makar Kundalavan Kiriti Hari Hiranmaya Vapur Thrita Shankara Shanka Chakra. One should meditate on Lord Narayana, who always resides in the orb of the sun. He is to be meditated as standing on the lotus flower, wearing beautiful armlets, sharp-shaped earrings, a crown, and a necklace. He has transcendental effulgent form and he bears a conch shell and Sudarshana disc. So we can see that the Lord is to meditate on the orb of the sun along with his beautiful ornaments such as the armlets, earrings, crown, necklace, and also his weapons. So this meditation, along with the chanting Gayatri Mantra, results in purification of intelligence and one can realize the Lord. Gayatri Mantra is considered as mother of all Vedic mantras. And we see here, the purpose of this mantra is to meditate on the Lord along with his ornaments at the 3 junctions of the day. So, the ultimate culmination of all Vedic mantras is to meditate on the beautifully decorated form of the Lord. See, now we go to share the last verse, 14th verse. So, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated in pure goodness. He illuminates the entire universe and bestows all benedictions upon his devotees. The Lord has created this universe from his own spiritual potency. According to his desire, the Lord entered this universe as a super soul, and by virtue of his different potencies, he is maintaining all living entities, desiring material enjoyment. Let me offer my respect obeisance to the Lord, who is a giver of intelligence. Purport. The predominant deity of the sun is another expansion of Narayana, who is illuminating the entire universe. The Lord enters the hearts of all living entities as the super soul, and he gives them intelligence and fulfills their material desires. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Sarvasichaham Rati Sannivishtam. I am sitting in everyone's heart. 15.15 Bhagavad Gita. As a super soul, the Lord enters the hearts of all living entities. As stated in Brahma Samhita 5. Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham. He enters the universe and the atom as well. In the Rig Veda, the predominant deity of the sun is worshipped by this mantra. Dheya Sada Savitra Mandala Madhyavarti Narayana Sarasi Jasasana Sannivishta. Just now we said. So Narayana sits on his lotus flower within the sun. By reciting this mantra, every living entity should take shelter of Narayana just as the sun rises. According to modern scientists, the material world rests on the sun's effulgence. Due to the sunshine, all planets are rotating and vegetables are growing. We also have information that the moonshine helps vegetables and herbs grow. Actually, Narayana within the sun is maintaining the entire universe. Therefore, Narayana should be worshipped by the Gayatri mantra or the Rig mantra. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the 5th canto, 7th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled The Activities of King Bharata. So this is a few things I thought of sharing from this chapter. Lots of things can be discussed, but time is of the essence, right? So thank you very much for this opportunity to glorify the Lord on this wonderful auspicious day of Nityananda Trayodasi and try to purify ourselves, right? Just like, so it's some very good lessons from Maharaj Bharata, we can say, take from this chapter. So as I told you, some questions, right? What was the name of this before Bharatvarsha?
Ajnava.
Rajanama, very good, nice. Where did Maharaj Parikshit go after his retirement?
Pulasra. Pulasra.
Pulashrama, very good.
Pulasra.
Kalyan Mati
Yeah.
is Pulashrama, correct. Nice.
Pulasra.
And this Pulashrama is near which river?
Gandaki River.
Gandaki Nadi.
Wow. Thank you very much, Maharaj. 3 questions. So you are very alert and very nice. The moment you hear, no, with alertness, then that itself is a purification. Otherwise, we will be here, but mind will be somewhere else. Especially now in Zoom, it's all the more a lot of deviations will be there, right? Somebody will be called, bell will be there, so many things. So that's very wonderful. Thank you very much, Prabhupada, for this and this opportunity to glorify the Lord. Hare Krishna. If you have anything which you felt very useful for you to take as a practical point to put into your daily life, you can share with it.
Prabhuji, Bharata Maharaja is a source of inspiration to all of us. While he
Correct.
was even in his administrative duties, he continued to perform his spiritual activities, and he saw to it that all the citizens were engaged in their prescribed duties simultaneously. Nobody was, without any work. So their minds
Correct.
were also, he kept their minds also busy. That was one very important point. And then when he gave up his material duties, he completely dedicated himself to spiritual activities. So we need to
True.
follow that, Prabhuji. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Hare
just want to
Krishna.
see like brahmacharya, then grahastha, like, and then vanaprastha. That's the vanaprastha is big. That's what he was doing, right? Straight away, then completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness. But it's not possible. That's we saw the five forbidden things. Sannyas also not possible in this age. But
Yes,
this vanaprastha can be done. Everything can be done at your home only. You can create a temple near your house, right? By being
yes.
absorbed in Krishna consciousness. My Guru used to say, by just being in Bhagavatam, reading Bhagavatam and everything, you are actually a brahmachari, right? You are married to Bhagavatam, so you are a brahmachari. That's a very powerful. So more and more you are absorbed in the scriptures given by Prabhupada and all the activities. Completely, we are in that stage, just like we are actually retired. Although you should be doing your responsible duties, but okay. But after a certain time, naturally, you will be completely absorbed in the Krishna consciousness. So in the old age also, your memory will be good, your health will be, everything will be fine. You can still remember the shlokas, you can still recite. Otherwise, in the old age, nothing, all the limbs and body will be very difficult to move, so nothing can be done. But since you are always in chanting and thinking of Krishna, reciting shlokas and everything, it will be there in the mind. So you can still do it in the mind itself. So you'll still be powerful. The memory will be sharp. Your voice will still be powerful, right? So this is the training ground. So this is the foundation we have to lay. So this is very nice point. Thank you, Mataji, for the correction.
And
Hare Krishna.
Bhishma was also so benevolent, Prabhuji. Bhishma,
Hmm.
Vishnu
Yes, go ahead, Mataji.
Sahasranama. He
Vaishnu
gave us,
Sasana. Yeah, correct.
yes, so
Correct.
that was mentioned. And Pushpam Patram Phalantoyam. That has
Yes.
been told so many times.
Yeah, correct. True, Mataji. Yes. Yes,
Thank you,
Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Janardhan Prabhu,
Hare
you wanted
Krishna,
to.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you
Correction.
for a wonderful session.
Thank you, Prabhu.
As
Correction.
mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, there is a number of occasions that Krishna says that always think of me. So I
Correct.
think that always think of me is the only solution to avoid this materialistic influences on our mind, Prabhu. Because in our
True.
daily life, that is the only way that we can think, I think, to lead a good vanaprastha life, I think that is the difficult part of it, Prabhu. Hare Krishna,
True.
thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That point, very nice, bro. Always think of me, Krishna. That's very nice. And how you said always think of him. How to always think of him. That also is given in Bhagavad Gita, right? And just I told the example of water, drinking water. Rasomam Sukante. Taste of water is I am the taste of water. When you drink water, Krishna has given the taste. Thank you very much. Then the sun, the moon. So many,
Yeah.
15 places are there. So many. If you see that in the Bhagavad Gita, I think, which chapter I don't know. Yeah, so
Chapter
you go
7,
through that.
Prabhuji.
Chapter 7, right? Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So in that chapter 7, we go through, you can see whichever
Yes.
places Krishna is. I am the Gayatri Ma, I am the Om, and so many things are given. So
Yes.
by thinking of those things, you are always thinking of Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Very nice point, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Dhanavad pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dhanavad pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavad pranam. Thank you very
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna
Thank
Prabhuji,
you,
Dandavat
Prabhuji.
Pranam.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Dandavat
Prabhuji.
pranam. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat
Krishna.
Hare
pranam,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Mataji.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much. Dandavat
Thank you
pranam.
so much. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu Mataji. Hare Krishna. Let's stop here now. Have a wonderful Nityananda Trayodasi festival, feasting, kirtans. So remember Lord Nityananda. Hare Krishna. Gaur Nitai ki jai.